Good morning, everybody, or evening, as the case may be. Another episode of Cooking with the Wookiee. My hair is not trying to behave again. So, anyway, we're going to be cooking some gluten-free goulash or spaghetti, depending on your point of view. It doesn't matter. It's kind of the same thing, I think. So, I've got some ingredients here for us. So let's take a look. Okay. We have 2 pounds of ground beef. I have low sodium tomato sauce for all of us who can't have a whole lot of sauce or salt. And then we've got the Del Monte spaghetti sauce. Now I got these from the food bank, so which is where we get some of our supplies. And then I found these wonderful noodles right here. Now, I don't get paid for any advertising or anything, but everybody said they wanted to know some stuff on what they can and can't have. So these are for those of us who want high protein diets, low glycemic for our diabetics, gluten-free for our gluten-free people. They're vegan and non-GMO. So, you won't grow any extra limbs if you eat them. And they are actually really pretty good. I also have a mess in my kitchen to clean while we're doing the video of the cooking. So I'll be cleaning and cooking and, the usual stuff that I do when I cook. Alright. Got the pan on the stove already. Yes, it is washed. It's just, I don't know what it is about these pans that get all of that stuff stuck to the bottom of them. But as you can hear, it's been washed. It's actually been washed 3 times. Me trying to get the stuff off the bottom. Alright, so let's begin by washing. I'm going to go wash my hands. I've got a bird's eye view finally of my pan, so you'll be able to see what I do in the pan. I don't do a whole lot of measuring because I've been doing this so long, I just eyeball it. And, there are chefs that can do that. There are chefs that prefer to measure. It's all up to you. It's all about the taste that you want to produce in the first place. So, here we go. Let's light a fire under it. I usually put it to about medium heat. Now, it's a little bit lean, but I like to put oil in there anyway because you're going to be putting dry seasoning in there and it helps the beef not to stick to the pan. So I put a good coating of it underneath because that's what happened last time. It stuck to the pan. The noodles did, despite my best efforts. So you wanna get the sides, okay? Because we're gonna be putting sauce and beef and everything in here. All right. Open your meat. Now, if you want to use Italian sausage, you're welcome to do so. I'm using what I have on hand. So this is the, I think there was a chef show that used to do that. They would provide random ingredients and then have the chefs try and make shit out of it. I've been practicing that for like the last 40 years, so that's nothing new to me. Look in the cabinet and see what you've got. And if you have it, great. If you don't, you have to compensate. Now, we Sorry for all the noise, but you know, dishes are dishes. So I'm washing, right now what I'm doing is washing the pasta pan that I'm going to use. The reason I did that is because the wife and I thawed out whole chickens. Now, some of you might think it's a waste, but you know, after a couple of thousand deboning after you've deboned a couple of thousand chickens, trying to do that at home is just something I don't do. I refuse to debone a chicken anymore. Maybe call me a baby about it, but you know, it's just too much trouble. Okay. Now, I have one of these little devices that my wife generously got for me. And these are the most wonderful things I've ever seen for doing this. So you take it, grab it by your thumb, like this, and mash down your meat. Okay? And that's how that works. And as the meat gets done, you can take it and mash it into actual hamburger. So I've also got to do my sink full of hot water because I started dishes last night and ended up getting distracted by my video games because I'm a gamer. I admit that I'm a gamer, and I ended up having my face plastered to the video or to the computer last night, playing one of my favorite games and having a good time with it. So, as you all know, I'm retired, so it's not like it's a, you know, it's not like I skipped work to do it or anything like that. It's just, you know. It took me away from the bullshit on, sorry for the language, it took me away from the garbage on planet Earth for a while. We all know that there's plenty of that going around. Now, it doesn't matter your political affiliation. This is not a political video, but, you know, y'all know that when you can't afford to buy food, put gas in your car, repair your car, that there is something very, very wrong going on. Alright? Just saying. And me personally, I've had about enough of the paradigms that we have going on in this country. I'm not going to go into detail because this is not the place to do. But yeah, like I said, y'all know that there is something going wrong when you can't afford to feed your family. And I've kind of been stuck in that position for a minute. Because, you know, I don't know if you guys, I'm pretty sure you understand that my wife is disabled and I keep an eye on her, a very close eye on her, just to make sure that nothing happens because I love her to death. So I stay home to do that, and you know, we're both vulnerable to the latest garbage that's floating around. and I will reserve my opinions on that for later. Okay, now I'm going to show you this way. Here we go. I think we can see that. I can see it on my screen, and I hope it records everything. So this here is our pasta bucket, and it will eventually be what we finish off our dish in. So I'm going to light it up. Now with this stove, this burner is the hottest burning one. So put some oil in there. That might be a little much, but all right, now back to my dish hole. And if you guys have seen my videos before, you'll know that I am the clean as you go guy. So we are going to start some dishwater so I can finish up the dishes that I started yesterday. And some new ones that have been added since then. Okay. As you can see, the meat's cooking. The water will start boiling here in a little bit. And I need to take a break for just a couple of minutes, and I'll be right back. All right, everybody, I'm back. Had to take a few. And like I said, as you can see with this neat little device, it really does wonders for your taking the lumpies out of your burger, especially if you're doing stuff like taco meats, spaghetti sauces, things like that, where you want it a little more fine grained rather than thick and chunky. Now, I have a lot of powders I use because I didn't actually go and buy any like fresh garlic and the like. You can use whatever seasonings you please as far as that goes. Fresh garlic is probably the best, but because some of the powders have been sitting on the shelf so long that they lose their kapow. And I like that. I like that flavor kapow. I like it when you can taste all your flavorings and they come out, the flavor jumps out of the food, grabs your tongue and twists it into a knot. So I like that kind of flavor. Some people don't. My wife's kind of the middle of the road there on that. Now, as far as this goes, I'm not hitting on any particular company in particular, but I know that with the plain tomato sauce like this, for example, it takes a lot more seasoning to get that kapow than it would for one that's already pre-seasoned like this. And I'm going to use a half and half to help out so that I'm not having to go buy more seasoning really soon. I need to find my shuffle lid. Where's the lid? I'm practicing my whistle. I don't know if you guys know it or not, but I'm having teeth issues, and I have to. Uh-oh, I'm bumping the cameras. Bumping camera. Bumping the camera. I'm gonna have to go get it fixed next month. So now I'm going to show you how to do this. Everybody has their different ways of draining meats and things like that. You can do it down your sink, but you have to run hot water after it, which is generally the norm for me. You can also drain it into a saucepan or a empty sauce can. However, since the sauce is going in with the hamburger at this point, what we're going to do is start up the extreme hot water. Now, because my camera is not mobile, what you want to do is crack the lid like this. Alright, so that there's just this crack here. And then hold it as you drain it. Dump it into the water so that the water thins it out. And get rid of that water and extra oils and all of that. Okay, so your meat's going to end up looking like that, which is great because we can work with it that way. I'm letting the water run a little bit longer just to make sure that it doesn't solidify, the grease doesn't solidify anywhere in the pipes. Now, I love my turmeric, so this is one of the first things I use is turmeric. It's a great spice. It also is good for you. So it has health benefits as well as, you know, having that good earthy type flavor. Peppers. And I'm just covering the top a little bit. You know, maybe a tablespoon each. I think this is about done. Almost. Been trying to get rid of this container for like the last 6 months. Alright, that should be enough running water. I don't want my gas bill going crazy on me either. If you want onions, you can chop onions and put in there. The basil and oregano that I'm going to use, you kind of want, it's like a 2-for-1. So it's 2 oregano to 1 basil. So like if you use, I'm just going to do this. So that should be about teaspoon and a half. Like I said, I like the kerpow. And then gotta have a lot of oregano to cover the basil. Okay. So, you know, if you measure out say a tablespoon of, or a teaspoon of basil, it's going to be 2 teaspoons of oregano to go with all of that. And then, of course, we can't have Italian without garlic, because garlic. And I have garlic powder. This garlic powder isn't particularly strong because I think it sat on the shelf too long. But, and I like a lot of garlic. Garlic is good for you. So don't be afraid of it. And then I'm going to go back through and kind of mix this up again. Because the next thing we're going to put in here is the tomato sauces. Okay. Now, as you noticed, I drained all of the juices out of the meat. And then, on top of that, all of the tomato sauces are going to dry it out. Or all of the spices are going to dry it out. So, we are going to open up our cans of sauces. And I like a lot of sauce in my stuff. I'm a saucy guy. If it's dry food, I haven't ever liked dry food. You know, like dry sandwiches with no mayo or no mustard or none of that. No, can't do it. Alright, so we got our 4 cans. I'm opening them all up. Now, I'm from the old-fashioned ways, where you tend to rinse out your cans. Make sure you got all the goodness out of those cans. I take the lids off. Be careful if you do this with your fingers, because you either splash yourself, you have a good chance of slicing yourself open very badly. And I have done that on occasion, because they are still sharp edges. Alright, there we go. Now, I'm going to wipe off the splash off my tum-tums. Grab a spoon, and then we're going to go to work here. It's already sticking to the bottom. This is kind of what I expected of this pan. I don't know why this pan sticks the way it does, but it does. Okay. Now you can either keep it thick like this, or thin it down even further. Now, since we're making a goulash out of it, so my wife she got herself her tongue pierced. So let's start off with that. She got herself her tongue pierced, and spaghetti is not her friend. Any long noodles are not her friend. So that's the other reason I'm doing this with macaroni noodles, is so that she doesn't have to worry about it wrapping around her tongue ring. Alright. So I use about a half a can. Try and rinse out as much as I can out of these cans. Because you always have leftovers down below. Into cans, on the sides. If you don't get them 100% clean, it's nothing to cry over. I just do it. Now, the leftover sauces, as you can see in here, yeah, it's a little thin, but there's quite a bit of sauce left in there. Okay. And the meat and stuff will absorb a lot of the water and all of that. So, oh, it's all right, babe. Hope it smells good out there.
Oh, it does. It smells really good. However, there's dog whining on the other side.
Oh, the black one?
Uh-huh.
She's probably hungry and thirsty and wants to get out of her hood. And she can't do that till I get there. Okay.
I'm a little bit busy at the moment.
Well, and I'm not going to get her out of her hood until I'm done. I'm sitting down eating. So.
Well, I'm in there cleaning right now, so I'm not watching her.
And that's fine. Don't let her out until we're done.
How do you suggest I stop her whining?
Put your headset in.
Okay, well, puts it in, and if I get too loud, you need to come and let me know.
Okay. All right. So as you can see, the water is now boiling. All right. So I'm going to start with these. And yes, I realize that there is a lot of water in there. I prefer it that way. Because if you guys have ever cooked with a pan that's way too small, yeah, that's not a good thing either. I've actually had my pans boil over on me because I picked the wrong pan, or I've had to make an adjustment in the middle of what I'm doing to add more because we have a surprise guest coming over or something, and it just boils out all over my stove, and then I've got a huge mess to clean. And then I'm trying to be a good host, and I'm still angry about the fact that it boiled over. You know how all that goes. So, anyway, I'm going to grab a spoon. Now, you want to stir these when you put it in the water as soon as you can. Get them, I put the oil in so that they would be coated in oil. And once they're coated in oil and stuff, they generally don't tend to stick, but you still need to stir to make sure they're not sticking to your pan on the bottom. Now, if you don't have a colander, you can drain this off with a lid. I have a colander somewhere that's big enough for this. Just have to find it. And I think my beautiful wifey has it with grapes. Oh. Well. Which is okay, because I can put the grapes in something else. So, grapes here, grapes here. Rinse out, because pretty much all it needs is a good rinse job. I'm going to set that directly in the sink. Now, as you can see with the chickpeas, you see the foam and all of this on top. This is what I'm talking about, boiling over. This is exactly what I mean. You're going to find that you have a lot of that happening with the gluten-free products. Your gluten-free noodles will all have this foamy stuff for whatever reason. No matter what they're made of, they still have a lot of this foamy stuff. So, and of course, we still have to stir the sauce, and I'm going to have to do taste testing because I'm old-fashioned that way. No, there isn't any like hard, fast recipes for this. I do everything off the top of my head because that was the way my mom taught me, and she was a chef before me. So, grab a spoonful, cool it down, and see what it tastes like. Now, if you need to adjust it up, adjust it up. And there's no harm, no foul in that. If I had onion powder, I would definitely have used it, but it doesn't have the kerpow I want. And because there's a lot of plain sauce in there, it's going to take me a bit of seasoning to bring that out where it needs to be. You know, you've all tasted the ragu spaghettis and things like that, and they have this nice rich flavor, and that's great. You have to be careful with the garlic, though. Unless you like your spaghetti sauce to have a bit of a bite, because it will give you a bite. And so will the peppers. Now, I'm going to put some Himalayan salt in there. I use the pink Himalayan salt like this. I use it because it's still got minerals in there. And I don't believe there's enough salt in there to bring out the flavoring. So, I'm going to mix that all up. Now, when you do this, my mom taught me to stir these. Don't pick your spoon up off the ground, off the bottom of the pan. Just go in circles and, you know, scrape your edges, put it back on the bottom, and then go in circles. And as you can see, it will mix it just fine without the splash. So if you get it too close to the edge on top, this is how to prevent your pans from splashing over. And as you can see, when I put the spices in there, it thickened the sauce. Okay. See, now they're growing up. My chickpea noodles are growing up. They're gonna soon be adults. Let's see. I need to find one to test. I really don't think that they're done yet. Nope, they're not done yet. I can feel it. Now, what my hands told me was they were still hard. So they're not done yet. Not by far. And I might even just throw a little bit of olive oil in my sauce too. Just a tad. Everybody's like, ew, but you've got to have good fats too. You've got to have good fats in your diet. Everybody's like cholesterol and LDLs and all of this stuff. And fact of the matter is that your body runs on a lot of different things. And you have to have good fats in order for it to function correctly. Fats are an important part of it. That's why some of us in the older generations remember our moms making bone broth gravies and things like that. Remember? I don't know if your mom or your grandmother, if you watch her, she'll take the gizzards and the neck of the chicken or the turkey on Thanksgiving, boil the living garbage out of them, and then make gravy out of it. Well, what she's doing is she's making bone broth. So that gets all the cartilage and the vitamins and everything into the water, and then she makes gravy out of it. Makes the gravy, it flavors the gravy really well, makes it taste wonderful, and it's very good for you. So nowadays you can buy the bone broth gravies, mixes, and stuff like that. So it's already done for you by the manufacturer. At least we hope. I haven't tried them yet, and yeah, if I can remember to pick them up at the store the next time we go, I will try them and let you know how they work out. We'll see how it's now. It's all settled in. The water is going to be a milky white, and that's because of all of the goo from the noodles and all of that in there. Let's try again. And this time, they're done. So, this. This. Do I have? Yes, I do. Just so happens I have dishes here that I have to wash yet. So I'm going to use one of them to prop up my colander. I don't have one of the old-fashioned colanders that has its own legs, so I have to use something different.
Really mad now.
I bet.
I can tell that she's still trying to whine because I can faintly hear it, but it's not very loud, so.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Alright, ready? Did you get your Trito?
Okay.
He just alerted again.
Okay.
I don't know if it was headache or what.
It might be.
Well, that headache's still here, so why would he tell me about something that's already here?
I don't know. Take a nortriptyline. Just on the happenstance.
Want to explain what that is to them?
Nortriptyline is for her allodonia.
Oh.
We call it the allodontia because if you have allodonia, you understand how painful that is. And what it means is the nerves in the skin get so sensitive that even having clothes on, brushing your hair, even a fan or a breeze will hurt. And that's not fair. It's just the worst stuff ever. In my opinion, anyway. All right. Sorry, I had to sneeze, so I had to exit stage left for a second. Now, I've got to rinse out that pan because I am not going to use that pan the way it is. I don't like the stuff around the top of it, so I'm going to try and clean it up a little bit. Make it look better. So I have quickly scrubbed out the pan. Got most of the stuff out of it that I don't like. A little bit there on top, but all right, now what we do with these, we're going to put these in here again. Put them back in there. As you can see, they're sticking to each other. And then I want to double check the sauce one more time before I just blatantly throw it in there. That's a lot better. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. I'm gonna put a little bit of oil in here and try and separate these noodles a little bit. Now my wife likes noodles and butter too, so you know, from here you can do whatever you want. So, oiled them up, separated them out. See, so they're all nice and separate. Now, presentation time. If you wanted to make garlic toast to go with this, you could. I'm not gonna, because I'm being kind of I'm not trying to make a 5-course meal. How about that? Okay. So, however which way you want to do it. I think that might be a little much for wifey. To be honest, if she wants more, I'll just have to get her more. And there's your sauce. See, look how nice that looks. Okay. Now the way I do this, so we got our noodles, we got our sauce, kind of spread it out a little bit, make it look thick. Okay. Now I'm going to take my wife's favorite subject. I have these. Now for all of you people who cannot have casein, there's no casein in this and there's no casein in this. It's a cheese that is completely safe for you. And you know, it's gluten free and all of that. There's your labels. And if you can see them, they might be a little blurry. Now, my wife is not a cheesehead like her husband is, so I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on top, about like so. So I just sprinkle a little on top. Now, and parsley. I believe in parsley because color. Parsley is good for you, and it provides just that bit of color that seems to make things go better. So here you go. Here's your final product. So, and it's casein free, it's gluten free, it's spaghetti, goulash, whatever you want to name it. If you wanted to put green peppers in there, decorate it up, you can do that too. This is just the basic. This is just the basic sauce and noodles. Okay? Bon appetit. Oh, and as a PS to this video, I'm going to fix mine the way I like it. And you can see what I mean about the differences. Don't forget, if you leave your noodles outside of the sauce like this, make sure you put a lid on it. Because the chickpea noodles will dry out really, really quickly on you. Okay? So, put a lid on there, cover it somehow, so that they don't dry out. Like I said, I like sauce. I'm a sauce fiend. I'm also a cheese fiend. And yes, this is sloppy. And it's a quick, simple, easy money way to make homemade spaghetti sauce without a whole lot of time and trouble. And you don't have to suffer the stomach aches. Unless you do like I do and eat. There's mine. Alright. So, we'll see you in the next video.